Hey everyone, my name is Jonny Archer. I'm the Trout Biologist at the Tweed Foundation. Today we're going to talk to you about the trout and grayling rod catch statistics from 2023 and how they fit into previous years. This is going to be a brief overlook into those catches. If you want a more in-depth analysis or more in-depth results, then you can go to this website here and you can go into it in more detail at your own time and leisure. I don't have that much time, so let's just crack on. So here at the Tweed Foundation we have a huge monitoring program so we can identify negative or positive trends. So then I can advise of what management things that we need to put into place in order to protect them. And that involves fish counters, electrofishing, spot patterns. But today we're going to talk very much about the logbooks here. Now these logbooks have produced a data set which is the crown jewel of riverine trout within Scotland. No other river in Scotland will have these, or probably I should say no river will have these. And this is all down to your participation, so we are hugely grateful to your participation. We have over 8,500 angling trips over the years, which can give us some great insight and great confidence within the results. So we've normally collected these results by the logbooks. However, we're now moving towards an online system, and this is because the logbooks are costly to produce. They are time consuming to write the data in, and they take up a lot of paper, which means there's a huge environmental footprint with these. So if you want, you can use the online logbooks, which you can see the QR code below and the web address. I'm going to fade the paper ones out, but if you still want one, you can email me from the email below, and I'll try and get one out to you as soon as I can. So within these logbooks, we collect a wide variety of data. We collect the time that you spend fishing, the number that you catch above and below your size limits, the number that are killed, and the average size of the largest ones that you catch. Now we use this data to collect the catch rate per unit effort, calculate the catch rate per unit effort. And this is the number of fish caught divided by the time we spend fishing for them. So if I caught these two fish within an hour, you'd probably think the fishing is good and we can assume that the population is healthy. However, if it took, in the exact same method and the exact same weather conditions, if it took me 60 hours to catch these two fish, we can generally assume that the population isn't in good health. So it's a good proxy to population health. Now before I get into this data, I just need to explain error bars. Now I don't want to dwell too long because it's boring even for me. So when these error bars, which are the capital I's on top of these bars, and the top of the bars illustrate the average. So when these capital bars are overlapping like this, they are pretty much the same. So we're saying we're confident that these two are roughly the same average. However, when those error bars are above another error bar, we can say we're confident that they are different. Now, there's certainly a different average in 2015 than there is in 2013 and 2014. When they're thin like this, we can say we're very confident within that result. The true average lies somewhere between them. But if we have a very wide confidence error bars, we're saying that we're not very confident because the average could be anywhere between these two bits here. So with that said, let's get into the fun stuff. So the first thing we notice is that the number of trout killed per year is on the decline. And this is a trend that extends back to the 1980s, to the point now where every angler, 1 to 2 or 3% of the angling trips result in a dead trout. So we're definitely not impacting them as much as we used to as an angler. What about the catch rate? So, well, you can see in 2006 the catch rate was catching 1 large trout every 4 hours, and to its maximum of catching 1 large trout every hour and a half. But there's a small increase up here. This could be down to the fact that we're not killing them as much. It could be down to another factor, but once it reached 2015, because there's a lot of overlap with these other error bars, we can assume that the trend is remaining stable. Therefore, the population has been stable, which means it's not going to get easier to catch these large trout unless something changes, or it certainly won't get worse unless something changes as well within the environment or within our own behaviour. With grayling, again, caught between the summer months, so it's not winter grayling. So the grayling fishing is certainly, on the whole, the trend remains roughly stable. Yes, there is different years which they're easier and harder to fish, but on the whole there is no upward or downward trend, suggesting that the grayling population is also in good health. But what about the average size of these fish? Let's go with the trout first. Well, let's just forget 2006 because those error bars are huge, so disregard that. It looks like there's been an increase in the average size all the way up to 2015, being the average size of 35 centimeters. Once 2015 hit, the average has remained relatively constant. Yes, a bit of fluctuation here and there, but generally speaking, the average size of the trout is remaining constant. This shows just that the population is remaining stable, I suppose. It's, wouldn't expect a decline or an increase unless something else happens within the Tweed. On grayling, on the other hand, discounting all this data to the left because we're not very confident according to those bars, the average size of grayling is remaining pretty constant, hanging around the 40 centimeter, 39 centimeter mark, suggesting again the grayling population is in decent health. So yeah, all this is just a quick insight to the Tweed as a whole and its catchment, and I can happily say that it looks like trout fishing is as good as it's going to get within this current weather and within the current angler behaviour of not killing trout. If those were to increase or decrease from now on, we won't know that unless we keep collecting this data, so please keep sending in your catch returns back, it's much appreciated. Yeah, we wouldn't expect to see any decline or increase further on. I think it's reached a new stable population. But is this what you would observe? Is there anything from your observations? What's your opinions? That's just as important to us as the data itself. So 6 months back I asked some anglers to fill in a survey to see whether or not their experience marries to anything within the catch logbooks. How reliable are our catch logbooks? So I asked a series of questions and let's just see what the results are. Now this is a survey and only 51 anglers got in touch, and so this is based on 51 anglers who've all fished the Tweed at one point or another. So the trout fishing is rated to be 7.6 out of 10 on the main stem of the Tweed, which is generally pretty decent. But how decent is it? Unless you compare it to something else, we don't really know. So let's compare it to the tributaries. Well, the 46 anglers, it says down at the bottom there, rated tributary angling to be 6.5 out of 10, suggesting that the tributaries are not fishing as well as the main stem. Now you generally would expect that. It always should be that the main stem fish is better than the tributaries. However, we've had so many reports of there being no trout in the tributaries that there must be some credence to those reports. So that's where I'd like to investigate further. So if you do fish a tributary, please let us know. We'd like to collect that data and see what's happening and compare that to the 1990s trout logbooks. But where are most of the big trout caught, and when were they caught and how? So most of these big trout, or people's personal best trout, were caught within the past few years. Now, some people did catch them in previous decades, but the majority of the anglers that involved in this survey said that they caught their personal best trout on the Tweed within the 2020s. But where did they catch them? Well, they caught them majoritively on the main stem. This correlates with our rod catches, which goes to suggest that we can have some confidence within our catch logbooks. Very few people say that their trout were caught on the tributaries, but not many, mostly on the main stem. Most of these anglers caught them by dry fly, some wet fly, some euro nymph. This again correlates with the catch logbooks data. Although I haven't gone into it in this video, I have done previous analysis on this, and this does seem to be correlate with what people are saying, which is good. So this survey, and I'll go into more depth and create another web page for this, but this survey suggests that bass fishing is on the main stem of the Tweed. We have some issues on the tributaries which need investigating. So if you do fish the tributaries, or you would like to do some investigation on our part, please fill in your catch logbooks and through the QR and all the web link below. Much appreciated. So yeah, thank you very much. This is the end of this video. If you would like to know more about this, or you've got more, or you'd like to see more videos like this, maybe on different subjects, please let us know and we'll be happy to oblige. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I'll see you around. Cheers!